What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the happiest hour on earth. We are back from our trip. We were there a week ago now. We are definitely missing it. And it's always kind of hard coming back, but we just thought tonight would be a fun time to kind of tell you guys about our trip and a little trip recap, maybe give you some tips, just chit chat about how our trip went this time around. So let's go ahead and jump in.
All right, so before we jump in, we have a crazy drink that we made tonight.
Doesn't look like it right now. It looks pretty average.
Looks pretty calm, pretty normal right now, but you have to check out our reel on Instagram at the happiest hour on earth because this thing was smoking and bubbling just a few minutes ago. So cool. So we had the sequel at the Lamplight Lounge for the first time. And it was so fun. Yeah, Em did. She's the smart one who got that drink while I got a boring drink that did not move at all. And,
but it was delicious.
It was delicious for sure. But this thing, when we came back from the trip, we're like, we have to make this for
had to be the first
Instagram.
On the list for the podcast.
Yeah, and so this is a vodka and rum based drink. It has passion fruit syrup and some agave and all that stuff. But the cool part is that it bubbles and smokes. This was our first time handling dry ice, so we were a little nervous. We didn't know what to expect, but we just got it at the store, hit it with a hammer a couple times to just kind of break it up, because do not touch this stuff.
Do not touch it.
When I was like opening it and preparing it, I was using gloves because you definitely need to use gloves or else you will get frostbite. That's what I've heard. And then we just used metal tongs, grabbed it from the bag, put it in the cup. And once it's in the cup, it's pretty safe and secure. Just don't let that thing go towards your face while you're drinking it.
Yeah.
Or else that would end very badly. But
like they tell you even at Lamplight Lounge, I think when they pour it in and you watch it do its thing, I think she told me like give it a few minutes like dissipate a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if it touches you, it's not good.
It's not good. Yeah. So that's why it's kind of calm right now. But it's so fun. You put the dry ice at the bottom, pour that drink in, and it worked like a charm.
It was great.
Much,
We were like kind of worried beforehand, like because when they do it at the park, it bubbles and smokes, and we were like, where did the bubbles come from? Like, did they have some sort of like champagne in there too, or like what made it do that? But it just does that on its own with any liquid in the cup. So we didn't need to add anything extra.
Yeah, so definitely if you want to try this drink, be very careful, very cautious. But anyways, I do want to try this drink.
Yeah, let's see.
All right,
the color was not spot on because the passion fruit syrup that Lamplight Lounge uses, we just did not have.
Yeah, and you can't really buy it anywhere. It was also
kind of a weird brand. I don't think I'd ever even heard of it.
I think it's a very good brand, but that makes it even harder to get in the stores. And then Amazon was like 2 weeks out, so we didn't have the opportunity to get that. But so I tried to make hers a little more passion fruit syrupy. The dry ice just went to the top. Hopefully it doesn't. It's like it's ready to get me.
Don't frostbite your lips.
I know. Right? But yeah, so yours might be a little more sweet because I added a little more passion fruit syrup. But let's go ahead and try.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. I'm ready.
Oh yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, mine is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Mine has a lot.
Mine's strong too, but I think you did put a little bit more of the passion fruit in there, so it does cut it off nicely. It adds a little sweet finish. I'm like trying to recall what it tasted like in the park. To be honest, that Lamplight Lounge experience was a little bit chaotic with our son. He made it a less than relaxing time. So the whole time I was drinking the drink, it was kind of just like downing it while I was trying to like tend to him. So I can't recall the flavor too much, but if I recall, it was pretty close to this. I think it's a good one.
Yeah, it's hard because this one didn't have any recipes online. It was just like, this is what's in there. And so I was like, I think they usually do this much in each, but
I like it.
Yeah, it is good. It is really refreshing.
So we're going to just start off kind of at the very beginning when we were planning the trip. We went, so like 6 months ago was the first time we had gone back since the reopening after COVID. and we just decided we had to go again. But this time around, we decided to use MouseDining. If you've never heard of that, it is an app, or I guess it's an app, right?
It's like
a website app.
Yeah, it's a website that you like put your info on, like your email, and actually,
like you can, yeah.
The one thing is that they have a free service, and you can put your email in there, and you can make a few. I think it's like maybe 4 to 6 reservations that you would like to have.
For dining,
but the thing is
obviously.
for dining and Oga's Cantina, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
the thing is that by the time I would check on my email, because I don't have it like sent every email sent to my phone, they would already be gone. So I was like, you know what?
It was
gonna
like
pay.
instant.
It's very
booked.
quick. Yeah. But I ended up paying for the service, which is $9 a month. I just did it for 1 month. So it's just a, flat thing of $9. Where you can add your phone number to get texted, and you could make a whole bunch of different reservations that you would want. So like different party sizes, different, a lot more different restaurants, different days, all that stuff. And I got Lamplight Lounge like really easily because of that.
It was so helpful. Things were really, really booked up when we had first started planning the trip. And there was like no availability for some of the places that we wanted to go.
Yeah.
And we were like, I think we need to try MouseDining this time. And it's such
really
a
nice.
handy thing to use when you're planning your trip, because so many people end up canceling their reservations, and instantly with that app when that happens. So we were able to get both Lamplight Lounge and Oga's through the app.
Yeah. And so Oga's was a little bit difficult because like all the reservations were like at 10 at night, but then we finally got one.
And some
while
in the
we were
morning
in the park
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, so we're like,
Like,
8 a.m. Get
Probably
your
not going to
Star
go
Wars
drink
cocktails.
at 8 a.m.
Yeah, but keep MouseDining while you're in the parks as well, because when you're there, that's when a lot of people are canceling. And so I think the day before, someone canceled for like a good time around 7, and we're like, okay, let's jump on that. And so and then I just canceled it once I got back because I wasn't planning a trip. And so the paid service of MouseDining will definitely help you on your trip if you want those like, good reservations.
Keyword the paid version. If you do the free one, it does nothing because people book instantly. If you don't know the second someone cancels a reservation, you're just not going to get it. We know by experience because we probably went like a couple weeks with that version.
The free version.
And we were like, everything's getting booked so fast. And he was like, okay, I'm just going to pay it and see if it's any better. And we got it like instantly.
Yeah.
So
it's super nice. So
really, really
check that
helpful.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, I mean, this isn't really kind of planning tips, but something that did work for us. We were having a hard time trying to find a hotel because, I don't know, this was actually our first trip with grandparents. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a hotel that had a front section, because once our son went to sleep, we didn't want to just stay in the dark. We wanted to make sure that we had a separate section where we could go hang out and everything. And we were also looking for a place that had, that would give us the adjoining rooms.
Yeah.
Because my parents were going and my sister as well. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to hang out with them and we're still able to keep an eye on our son. And so we found the DoubleTree that was pretty much, it was just like a short little distance to the Toy Story parking lot, but that really
it's like
worked for us.
a mile-ish from the park entrance, which isn't ideal. It's like a little far, but because the shuttle is so close, it actually worked out really well.
Yeah. And last time we stayed right across the street from Disneyland, but that hotel didn't have any adjoining rooms and the fireworks were really loud. So it was just kind of a
really busy hotel to stay at. It was just always kind of packed in that vicinity. And like, I don't know, it was just a little bit chaotic staying in that hotel, I feel like.
Yeah. This one was really nice.
DoubleTree was really nice, actually. We've heard good things about a few of the hotels on that street. But this one, I would say, was really good.
It was really nice. Yeah. And the thing is, too, even though it was a little bit farther, like I mentioned, it was just like a block away from the Toy Story parking lot. So we would just walk through the Toy Story parking lot, grab that shuttle for free, and then get dropped off right at the gate, and you don't have to do bag check,
yeah,
which is great because you
getting on the shuttle.
Exactly. So that was super, super nice because the bag check lines at the shuttle are a lot shorter most of the time than at the park. So we got let off right there, and once we got into the gates of Disneyland, we just went to the other gates. A lot of waiting, and then went in. So that was super nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. I loved that hotel experience. I think that was probably one of my favorite hotels we've stayed at along Harbor before. It was super nice if you go with a kid and grandparents at the same time. Every morning I would pretty much get my son up and he would like go right over to the grandparents' hotel room, which was just through the door, and he would just like hang out, have his breakfast.
Like an Airbnb feel because of the adjoining rooms.
Yeah, it just felt like one big house,
little space,
kind of. Yeah,
it was nice.
So it was really nice. So we just got to get ready and kind of take our time in the morning while he was occupied. Yeah. So that was really nice.
And then moving on from that, like that was pretty much all of our like pre-planning that we did. But going with we were so curious, and I don't know if you have kids or not, but for those that do, it's so interesting. Or if you're planning to have kids, it's so interesting the difference of experience when you have gone before kids and then when you do have kids. And we saw people there with like 1 day olds.
Yeah, there were. I was like, newborns.
How insane are you?
I like never used to notice how young of babies were in the park until this trip, and I was like, how in the world did you make the decision to come to Disneyland?
Yeah.
With a newborn.
I know.
I mean, that is brave.
It's so brave.
I mean, they're diehards, I guess, is all I can say. And we are diehards too. But having gone with a toddler, I can't even imagine with a newborn.
Well, yeah, and it's like different levels of insanity.
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like right
and I guess
now,
newborns sleep a lot.
Yeah, sleep a lot, right? So
and can sleep in noise.
Yeah. I think there's this like weird bell curve of like, maybe earlier in infancy, it's pretty easy because they sleep a lot. But there was our last trip was a lot easier with our son because he was just starting to walk. So he wouldn't walk too far and then would want to go in the stroller. Now we're at this weird point where he just wants to walk everywhere. And that's very difficult because like lines he didn't understand for a little bit. But I think we're going to hit this like nice curve coming up where like, in maybe a year, he'll better understand, okay, we wait for this like great experience. And then once they get to like 5 and 7, then they get to go on these like bigger rides and they like get to enjoy it a little bit more.
They remember the trips throughout the years.
Yeah. But right now it was like really, it was harder than our last trip for sure because he was so independent.
Harder.
He was independent. I want to run. I want to do everything.
Okay, he was, but he also wasn't because he also forced me to hold him for a large majority of the trip. And if anyone else tried, it was a no-go. It had to be me. So I was very tired after the days in Disney. It was definitely a weird mix because it was like he didn't even know what he wanted a lot of the time. Like he wanted to run around, but I think he was really tired and hot and overstimulated a lot of the time. So he did just kind of want to be held. It was kind of wild with him this time. I can't lie.
And talking about like overstimulation for a toddler and a kid, like if you know someone, if you're going with someone, maybe you have like a niece or a nephew that's going to the park soon and you're going with them and you don't want them to get super cranky. We actually did want to talk about the open areas of Disneyland. I think our last episode, not our last one, but the last episode where we talked about bringing a kid to the park, we talked about like good sleep spots where they could just find some peace and quiet to go to sleep. But this time, because our toddler just needed to run around and didn't nap as much as the last trip, we thought we would, and this is also good for not just toddlers, but
anyone that needs to destimulate. Yeah, because we all get there. I think
this trip was like maxed out. There was no more reservations for all 3 days that we were there. And if you just need a break because there's just so many people and it's every single day, it just gets even more crowded at Disneyland. We thought that we would go over some places that are just very nice and very open where you just kind of like reset before you continue your trip. And do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So we took him to a few places. We realized on this trip, Disneyland is much harder for this than California Adventure.
Yeah.
I gained a whole new appreciation for California Adventure on this trip personally. Obviously, Disneyland is the best. I'm obsessed with it. But with a kid,
Yeah.
California Adventure is a little bit easier.
And it's a sign of the times too, right? Like back then the population was so much smaller. So like everything was like narrow and
they
like,
didn't
care
understand
about
how
it.
busy
It was
those
gonna be.
areas would become years and years later.
Yeah.
But with California Adventure, it's just a
It's
little bit more
limited.
open. I think it's just like everything seems a little bit wider, a little bit easier to navigate. Sometimes it's packed even there, but I just overall found it much easier to like get around and not feel so like claustrophobic. Yeah. So in California Adventure, we had a lot easier of a time with our son, just kind of letting him get out and run around. So we definitely love to take him into Cars Land. Obviously, he's a little kid. He loves cars, and that land is just great for letting a kid out to just kind of roam. And obviously, you have to watch him, but it's not like it doesn't ever feel so congested that you just like can't keep track of your kid.
Yeah, and it has those like offshoots, right? Like the main road definitely will, but the best place is as you like peel off to the right. Yeah, I guess it's near Flows, right?
Yeah.
If you peel off to the right, there's this like amazing area that hardly anyone really walks through, and it leads to the Pacific Wharf or whatever the wharf. And that is just great because literally it's wide. They could run through there,
and you
don't
just
have
get to watch the Radiator Springs racers go by, which our son loved because obviously he can't ride it yet, but he loves cars so much.
Yeah.
So he loved getting to just watch the cars go by. So that's a great area. We loved bringing him into Cars Land for sure. We didn't actually take him here this time, but the Redwood Creek Trail, we were occupied at the time. So the grandparents were taking over with the little man, and they took him over there, and he loves that area.
Loves it. I'm so glad there's a place to do something
I
like that,
love
you
that
know,
that's
with
there.
the
And
kid.
I never even went there, I don't think, before having a kid. And after having him and going in there, I'm just like, I could totally just hang out and destimulate in here. Like, it's so pretty, and there's like a waterfall, and it's like trees, and it's just really peaceful. I mean, there's a lot of kids that go in there, obviously, but it's just, you feel kind of zen in that spot, I feel like. So it's a good spot for kids to let them kind of just get their steam out.
Yeah. And then, so another one, as we go over to Disneyland, which, like you said, there is not a lot of places to kind of have this, like, okay, I'm not crowded right now, you know? I'm not claustrophobic right now, but Galaxy's Edge, we feel like, is a good one. Obviously, there are going to be a lot of places that do get a little more crowded, but the walkways in Galaxy's Edge are a little bit more manageable. All the walkways that lead in and out of the lands are very nice. By Rise of the Resistance, as you go towards like Critter Country, that's a nice long stretch where not too many people are, you know, walking. So you get a little more, a little more peace walking through that area because not a lot of people are going there.
I think I mean, Main Street can be a chaotic place for sure, but I did let him, I had to let him walk around Main Street. It was like, that's Main
It's so
Street.
it's
Like,
so special.
You have to. So he definitely liked walking through Main Street. He did the trip on the railroad thing a few times. I was holding his hand, but I was like, christened into the Disneyland trips. But yeah, so he did get to walk around Main Street, which was nice. The main thing I think for him on this trip was characters.
Yes.
Which
he loved them.
Yeah. Like, he is at an age right now, he's almost 2, he'll be 2 in August, where seeing the characters was just so magical. And it was like probably one of the best things for me on this trip. Because the first day, the first moment walking into the park, we walked in and they were all just
The
up.
Fab Five, right?
They were up by the train. And we saw them the second we walked in the park. And I have a very cute video of my son seeing them and just running over to that spot to see them.
Oh my
So
gosh,
characters were a huge part of this trip. And we just missed the April 18th return of meet and greets where he would have been able to go and hug them. And I'm so sad because he is not scared at all. Like, when he sees the characters, he just wants to run up to them. Like, he was trying so many times.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart because I know that soon enough he would have been able to do it. But next trip, he'll be able to.
Though? I think there should be a blend of meet and greets and what they're doing currently right now, because it's really fun because there's no longer any lines to actually meet the characters. They just get to like interact and like point to people and like get up close, but there's no like lines to meet them. Like, obviously kids need to like meet and hug Mickey and Minnie and all that stuff,
and we do too.
Yeah, and we do too. But I loved like there was like in this little grassy area near the castle, Peter Pan and Hook and a whole bunch of other ones, and they just get to like interact and run around and like have some fun rather than just waiting in line and then having someone come up and then you have to pose and then you're next in line. Like, you just get to experience a character interaction without waiting. But there were a lot of great character interactions, even though our son couldn't go up and meet him. But like Pluto, no line, but my son just went up, showed him his like Pluto stuffed animal, and Pluto was interacting with him so well. And I was like, even though there was this little barrier, it felt intimate still. And even it wasn't like, because it's usually like a picture and then it's like, get out of here, you have to go quick.
Kind of. Well, not really. I recall a lot of times where they were, you got your moment with the character. Like, kids for sure could sit and like hug them and like would sign their little books and like.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to rush you out of there.
Yeah.
Some kids just aren't into hanging out for too long, but some are, and I think that they would take the time for that too. But I guess you're right. There is a nice little like intimate moment.
Yeah.
For kids and the characters this way too. But I don't really know how I feel about it, because I really, really am excited that characters are coming back. But it has been kind of a cool way to see the characters like this, because they have more freedom to interact, and they're really good at like making sure that every kid that comes up gets like a moment.
Yeah.
I know. I wish that there could be both things still.
Yeah. Like, have some experiences where it's just kind of, everyone just kind of jumbles together and just gets to say hi and all that stuff without waiting in a line.
But then you could also wait in a line.
Do the hug ones.
Because it might kind of like, break up the lines a little bit on both.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, if I don't want to wait in that line, I can still just like run up and say hi later and like snag a picture from a little bit away.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know. That would be nice.
But other than that, like, another fun thing that we did on this trip, it was Food and Wine Festival, which was really, really fun.
Yeah.
We didn't get to go to as many kiosks that we wanted to, just because, I mean, literally a trip with a toddler is a lot different. It's not like, oh, let's wait in line for food. He's like, I don't want to wait in line at all, even for rides. It's very, very different. But we did get to go to a couple of different kiosks. We went to the garlic one, which was super good. I forgot what it was called. Was it called like I Love Garlic?
It was kind of a lame name for that place, but they had really good stuff.
Oh my gosh, the mac and cheese, and then the what was that steak?
Oh, that's like chimichurri steak and like beef. Potatoes or something, I think.
Oh, that was so good. There's also
really
like a really good like bitter cocktail that I really love there. It was like was it rum or whiskey?
I feel like it was whiskey.
I think it was whiskey with Aperol, which is like insane.
Yeah, and like rosemary.
Yeah, it was super crazy. I really liked it. She wasn't a big
I don't love Aperol. Rosemary or Aperol too much. I mean, it was better than I thought it would be, but it wasn't like necessarily one that I would go back for.
Yeah.
But I did get a tropical one.
The tiki bitter cocktail.
Yeah, I did the tiki bitter, which was pretty good. I liked that one.
That was right near like the river rapids.
Yeah.
Which was really, really tasty. There's also a beer garden right near like Goofy's Sky School, which is really, really cool.
Got a nice variety of beers there. Some really good ones.
Yeah, so good. And then there's another one that we got at night. What was that?
Yeah,
one?
it was our last night, and we got the other tropical cocktail, which was, oh my gosh, what was it called?
It was at the booth where they had the it was at the artichoke booth. There's a tropical cocktail there that literally just tasted like orange juice on ice.
Yeah. Wasn't the best of the cocktails that we had. It was like good.
It was good. It was delicious. Yeah. It was like,
but like, if you want a good cocktail, probably not the one that I would go for.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. You know what was really good was outside of Monsters Inc.
Oh,
the
we
Hollywood
did get another one. I was just
the
thinking,
sake one. There's a sake something.
Yeah, it was the it was like a melon
sake
something.
75, something like that.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it now.
Sort of that was really, really good.
That was good.
But the cool thing about Food and Wine is that we got to do part of Food and Wine with Ashley from Darling of Disney.
We did.
So cool to like actually meet her because like she does some amazing drink reels as well. Also has some sick etched glasses that we have two in our cupboard right now. We use them in a lot
of our reels.
Yeah, you've probably seen them.
You've probably seen them.
But it was so awesome finally meeting Ashley in person.
It was.
We got to do we got to do the beer garden, the mac and cheese, and the tiki bitter one. Oh, and the other bitter cocktail with her.
Yeah.
And then we got a couple. We went through Avengers Campus, and then we had parent passes. We had 3 parent passes. So me, Emily, and Ashley got to ride on Guardians Mission Breakout after a couple of cocktails, which was super fun. So
had to down our cocktails right before we got on the ride. Actually, at least I did.
Oh yeah,
I was still drinking it in line. I was like, I need to finish this now. And,
it was a perfect place to down it,
Great
right?
time.
Yeah, right before
it was
Guardians.
like, this could go really badly.
Yeah. And it was so fun. So Ashley, if you're listening, we had so much fun meeting you and riding Guardians and having cocktails with you. That was so great. I love meeting the Disney community. So whenever we go next, hit us up.
Yeah, we'll hang out just like we did this time.
We'll drop off our kid at the grandparents and we'll go hang out. For sure.
We'll make time.
That'd be so great.
So fun.
I guess
aside from that, I mean, that was the gist of everything, but I figured maybe we could just kind of talk about some of the standout highlights and things that maybe we wished would have gone a little different.
Yeah.
So highlights for me, like I had mentioned, was seeing our son with the characters. I think that was probably one of the best things. Not to mention he really just enjoyed the rides more this time, I think.
Yeah.
He went on quite a few rides with us. I was kind of like listing them off in my head the other day and I was like, wow, he actually rode a lot and he liked them all. Once we could kind of get him the hang of waiting in line and actually have good distractions for him, that was a key thing this time. We had to have like snacks and a toy to play with and things that he could focus on that really, really helped in the lines. Once we kind of got the hang of that and he got the hang of that, it actually went pretty smoothly and he really enjoyed a lot of the rides.
Yeah, so and actually some quick encouragement for those parents out there. The first couple lines will not go well. They won't go well, but know that they will. I mean, at least for our son, he started to get the idea of, okay, I wait. We're going to like have this time of like just kind of playing while we're in line. And then we'll finally have the reward of the ride.
Yeah.
And so if you go on the first ride and he's like she is on a total mess while you're waiting in line, don't worry. Just like keep trying, keep giving them snacks, keep trying to distract them and all that stuff. Because he did get better. Chance did get better. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it did end up working out throughout the rest of the trip. After that first time in It's a Small World, I was like, I don't even want to do more rides. This is so rough. But
a
I'm
couple
glad that
ones.
we did. Yeah, there was a couple that were kind of hard.
An experience we never had at Disneyland before. Our son's truck
Oh, yeah.
fell, or like he had a little toy truck. It fell into the Storybook Land canal boats and all that.
And the cast members had to try very hard to get it out for him, and they did.
Fished it out, yeah.
They finally did. But yeah, that was definitely nothing we had experienced before.
It's like one of those like, oh my, how's this happening to me?
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding?
Yeah, it was very funny. But yeah, so highlight us, aside from what I mentioned, I'm trying to think what else was really special on this trip.
I mean, yeah, so like character meet and greets, meeting Ashley was such a highlight.
Yeah.
And then
Getting to do some rides
Oh,
together that we didn't get
yes.
to do the last time.
for sure.
Because our last trip was mainly just us with our son. We weren't able to ride like some of our favorites together. We had to do like the parent pass and just like one go then the other.
Yeah.
So this time we got to like, let our son hang out with the grandparents while we rode our rides together, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Might have rode Splash Mountain for the last time. I don't know. I thought that the last time we were there, and it was still there this time. But I don't know.
Yeah.
By the time we go again, it might be gone. So we did get to ride it together, which was nice.
It was so nice.
And Space Mountain.
It was fun seeing my parents with him for the first time because I feel like my parents took me the entire, as I was growing up, and to see them with my kid was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. And it gave them a whole new appreciation for Disneyland now that they're grown and you're grown. I think maybe it had lost some of the magic for them.
Yeah.
But getting to go with their grandson, I think, was pretty special.
For the most part, there was, I was like literally thinking while you're saying that, I was like, oh, there were some times they were probably as stressed as we were, like a little crazy lion baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so
but they're
special.
used to it. They had done it before. I'm sure that at times when they took you guys, it went that same way. So
yeah, they're pros, and props to them for watching our son while we got to do some rides. Oh, another highlight, was taking your son on the train for the first time, which is really, really special because the train is something that Walt Disney just cherished so much, right? Like he was always so into trains, and so riding the Disneyland train like on the railroad is like quintessential Disney for sure. And it's something that I think Walt will never want to take out of the park because it's pretty
has
much
to be there forever.
Like started his
That's part
like
of
idea
his childlike state that he would always have. Like he always had that love of trains, I think.
Yeah.
And that is such an integral part of Walt that will always have to remain in Disneyland.
And the fact that the railroad encompasses and like surrounds every part of Disneyland is so cool. It's kind of like Walt's arms, just like it's like a little part of Walt just like hugging everything that's inside of Disneyland.
Cute.
And so
I never thought
taking
of it like that.
taking your son on the train was really cool. He like handled it so well. The entire train ride rode across everything, and just to experience like one of the most classic parts of Disneyland with him was really, really great. And he loves trains, he loves trucks, he loves cars, all that stuff. So that was really, really fun.
And he had been waiting to go on that. Like seeing his I mean, I didn't mean to make this whole episode like all about him, which I feel like it kind of primarily turned into that. But seeing his reactions to things on this trip, like even more so than the last one, was super special. Like he would see things and just be so excited and just start like running. Like, I mean, he would get so pumped over stuff. Like when we were like, let's go ride the train. And like we were excited, he would be like giddy and just like run to it. Like it was so fun to watch. It was just really special. I loved seeing him there at this age. And I think it's only going to get more special the older he gets.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing too, is that even though there are going to be stressful times with a kid, as they, especially in toddlerhood, but you get to experience all these little memories that you're making with them. And then once they get to the age where I think it's 40 inches, right? They could ride Thunder, Space, Guardians, all those rides. And then just seeing them like, oh my gosh, they finally reached 40 inches. We could do those together. And then as they just like continue to grow in the parks, it's just so fun because you'll have all these memories, good with the crazy, that you get to just remember every time you look at them. Every
Yeah.
time that you know, you get off a ride and you see the picture that was taken of you and them, you're having a great time on Space Mountain or on Guardians, and just looking at that photo and being like, I remember taking him here when he wasn't even, 1 year old yet or something.
Yeah.
And so it's great to make those memories, even though they are a little bit stressful. But
Yeah, and that's what's so special about Disneyland is like from the beginning of the park opening, it has always been a place where a family can go and grow together.
yes,
Like all through a child's life, a lot of families have that place as their like place for family memories,
Yeah.
Like I love to think of how our family's going to grow and we'll continue going and our kids will love it as we do, and like just how special that is that so many families have that experience, and that is what makes Disneyland so special. Because all the people that have had those experiences understand the reason why it's so special.
For sure. I love it.
I love it.
But with that pretty much concludes our trip report. We have one more week, and then I think after that week we have a very special guest on again, and then I think we have a few more, and then another special guest, and then we're gonna do a little bit of a series on our podcast. So really exciting things coming up. You are not gonna want to miss our topics and our guests. Our guests are gonna be. I know. I'm really pumped.
Some more good ones. Like we lined up some fun interviews in the coming
weeks.
Very
different too. I know we've interviewed some businesses, just some other pages, but we have some fun ones coming up. So definitely, if you don't subscribe or follow us on podcasting platforms or YouTube, go ahead and do so. Also, we are wearing Park Hop tees right now, so use our code Happiest15 on parkhoptees.com. Dope shirts, and they just keep coming out with some amazing ones. So 15% off your order. So definitely go check them out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening to our trip report. We had so much fun on our trip, and we hope you guys enjoyed hearing about it. And we will see you next time.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.